Hey everyone, it's Michael Valtos from Orderflows.com, and this is the Orderflows market analysis for Thursday, May 18, 2017. A very interesting day yesterday. It's been a very interesting week, extremely volatile week. We did recover from Wednesday's big sell-off, and there's just a lot of things happening in the markets, and order flow, I think, would give you an edge. It's not going to pick every single turning point in the market, but it picks some really nice turning points. And before I jump in, gotta go through the brief disclaimer. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Tools I use in this presentation are the Orderflows Trader software, which is the volume footprint chart, and the Delta Scalper. And like I said, very interesting week in the equity markets and in the currency markets. So I'll start with the 10 range E-mini chart. Now, normally I trade with I keep a 4 range chart and a 10 range chart open. I'm not a big fan of minute charts. The reason being, the market moves based on price and value. It doesn't move based on time increments. The market doesn't have a clock that says, oh, it's 5 minutes has elapsed, I should start forming a new bar. Rather, I use range bars because I like to see how price moves and, how it reacts as it's moving, rather than, we're just trading here. Oh, it's time to start a new bar because it's 110, or it's time to start a new bar because 60 seconds just elapsed. To me, that doesn't really give an accurate representation of the market. So that said, in the morning, I'll start at around 7. There was this buying. Around 7 o'clock, we had been trading around 2347, okay, 2350, that area, in here somewhere. This is the Delta Scalper giving a sell. It's a little bit, it's a little move. But, really, things really took off when cash opened at 8:30. Just before cash open, you do have the stacked buying and balance, okay, but 8:30, things are definitely going to change, and you're going to get a lot of volume coming in. And I was really looking to see what the market was going to do, okay. And cash opened here at 8:30. We started moving higher. Okay, then we just started going sideways here over the next, basically the next. What time is that? About 8:30. The next 30 minutes, more or less. You do have another stack buying imbalance in here. Okay, which is good. You're starting to see buying come in. Okay, before you had selling, but you're just going sideways, right? You're getting a couple positive deltas, some negative deltas. I mean, you could read what you want into this. It's a little bit declining, but the market's just kind of spinning its wheels at this point. All of a sudden, you get some aggressive buying coming in here, and you start rallying. Okay, that's a good sign. You got the buying imbalance. You got more buying imbalances in the next bar. That's a sign this market's going to go up, and you got some nice increasing delta here: 949, 1200, 3900, 6422. Now, I was saying in the room at this time, I was saying, for a move to be happening, what you're going to want to see is increased buying come in. And how you're going to see it is, watch these deltas. There should be closing, if a move is strong, right, we should be closing the delta, the final delta number, relatively close to the max delta number. That's going to tell me that it's just dominated by buying. We're closing almost on our highs of delta in the bar. So you got this bar, 949. The max delta was 988. That's very close. 1266, we closed at 1218. 3914, we closed right on 3914. 6473, we closed at 6422. But, even in this bar here, by 3914, I'm already convinced. Okay, and what happens is we shoot higher. We start shooting higher. We get up to this point up here, 2366. And I'm starting to wonder, hey, are we going to take out this high or not? You got all rising point of controls at this point. And you don't have, any reason to be getting short in this move up at all. I mean, you do have a small delta here, minus 146, but the bar is still green. Why do you have a negative delta? Because you got a lot of volume here. People are selling into these bids. You know, this is supportive volume on the way up. You get up here near this high a day. Again, I was curious to see if we're going to get there. I thought it was a little bit optimistic to get there a bit early, but we did nevertheless. And what do you got up here? You have a divergence, okay, but you start seeing, you know, the delta changing. You got minus 1400, minus 4982. You got 512 here, still negative, but the bar is green. Okay, so, you know, I'm starting to wonder what's really going on. You know, are we seeing some buying come back in off this high or not? And what happens is we just, you know, we start getting some small deltas, 295, 580. So again, you know, to me, when I start seeing small deltas, I'm starting to think, you know, we found a level where, you know, where trade is occurring, you know, without moving the market. And then we start dominating by sellers. You got a lot of imbalances in here, 3,000, 2,000, 1,800. And we start to sell off. We come down here, we get these double bars, double point of control is at the same level. Positive delta, small positive delta, big positive delta, bigger positive delta. Again, you know, I'm not reading too much into this. You know, to me, this is just the market trading. You know, I'm not saying, oh yeah, well, you know, the price rejector gave this high, this low here. Even though it did, you know, I'm still not convinced. You know, the market is very volatile and it can turn on you on a dime. I'm really not convinced. And we just go sideways in here. You know, we're getting alternating bars, red, green, red, green, red, green. And, you know, we're going sideways. Okay. Now this is why I like using the delta, because delta is going to clue me in on a move that's possibly about to happen. And we get to this bar here, and the delta scalper signals me that, hey, you know what? According to the delta over the bars, most recent bars, and the way the price action's been, get ready for a possible move. And, you know, we're trading 23.61, 23.62. And then what happens? The market just explodes to the upside. We go all the way up, new highs all the way up to 71. No reason really to sell up here. You do have a divergence, but that's it. We make some new highs up here at 142. So we go from all the way, you know, from 62 all the way up to 75. That's a 13-point move in the S&Ps. You know, if you only take one trade a day on one lot, that makes your day right there. You know, granted, every day you don't have 13-point moves like that. You know, sometimes it's a 3-point move that you get. But, you know, the way this market's been crazy the last week, you know, there's been some very nice opportunities. So anyway, we get up to this high here. And to me, this was very interesting. You know, as I was doing my presentation at this time, and I started keeping one eye on the charts, you know, while I'm doing this, and I just remember seeing this bar here. Now, you do have a delta scalper given a sell here, but this bar here, to me, was very enticing. Why? You have very strong positive delta, 7,000, which is strong. You know, very, very strong. And what did delta do? It ended up at 303. It didn't get the negative delta, but it ended up at 303. So it was up 7,000. Went from 0 to plus 7,000 and down to 300. So it swung back. You know, it swung back basically 7,400 more sellers than buyers in this bar. And then the delta scalper picks up that, hey, you know, possible short entry here, and the market just, you know, it sells off again down to the low 60s. You do have the stack buying imbalance here, but again, you know, it's one of those things. You know, do you make the decision? Do you get out at this point, or are you going to let it see what's going to happen in the next bar? You know, we have the stack buying imbalance, so we just came right down through it pretty quickly in the next 5 minutes, and, you know, I said, you know, went lower, then, you know, continued on lower into the close. On the reopen, you do have delta scalper gave a buy, but it's a red bar, so you shouldn't be that, you know, that interested in it. And on the low of the night session, you do have the price rejector given a buy there. Now, like I said, you know, a lot of interesting things in the markets yesterday, and I mean, I could really talk for an hour about all the stuff that was happening, but you know, I'm just going to try and show you some of what I think were the highlights here. This was crude oil. This was 5 in the morning. You get down to this level down here, this low of the day, 48.05. Point of control right on the bottom. You got ratio bounds low, and you got this very strong volume. You know, for 5 in the morning, you got 139, 120, 400. So you're looking at, you know, what is that? About close to 700 lots being traded down here on the low. And, you know, so why do I like it? Because order flow is telling me that there's volume down here that's supporting this market, that's stopping this move. And we get a nice move up from, the next bar here at 48, whatever this is, 48.16, all the way up. Whoops. We just, go all the way up to the, up to the 60s. Well, again, I'm not saying you'd sell up here, but, you should have at least been able to catch at least 20 cents out of that move. And let's talk about the currencies really quick. Well, let's talk about beans first. Beans were very interesting. Kind of similar, actually. And we had hit this level this morning, early in this, I'll say early in the session, but after the 8:30 reopen in the beans, we got down to this level, 950. And you talk about traders being trapped, but what you had is you had very good buyer down here. You can see at this time at 852, you traded 1,759 contracts there at that low. You had a lot of people selling into this low, trying to break it and see if they could trigger stops below this. 950. Not only is it a more of a, I'll say, a longer term level, but it's also a psychological level in the soybeans. Whoops. Sorry. Give me a sec here. Clicked on something that's the bean chart, but I just want to talk about this. This was, to me, this is very interesting. People talk about traders being trapped. So you got all these people selling the shit out of this, trying to get this market to go lower. All of a sudden they realize they can't. We start ticking higher, tick, tick, tick higher. So all these people that were selling this, looking for the market to break out and go lower, they got to start covering it here. We trade from 950, all the way, we just sort of go sideways. We get all the way up to like 956 later. We do rally up here. Along the way, you've got the Delta scalper giving this buy here. Then you got the Delta scalper giving a sell here. We do sort of drift around lower, lower, lower. And again, then we test this level again at 950. You still got volume there. And, people are really trying to get this market to move through it. Even on the way down, there is still supportive volume here, 1100, which for the beans is a lot. But we get down to this level. Again, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen when we get down there. Are we going to bounce again? Or are we going to violate it? If we violate it, then, watch out. Okay, we could trigger stops and go lower. And what happens? Boom, you get through it, and very quickly, you drop you get from 950, you drop all the way down to 946. You got the stack selling imbalance. So, I do believe stops were triggered here. We get this big push lower, over the next 2 or 3 minutes. We hit this level down here. It's a doji bar, but, point of control at the bottom. And again, you got very decent volume there. Bounce up a little bit. Selling comes in. Again, you're not seeing at this point, very heavy volume that we were seeing up here just above 950 and a half, thousands on the bid. You come through these levels again and you get more selling, aggressive selling coming into these lows. Boom, boom, boom. Here you got some decent volume and you just go lower. So, even though you have, the supportive volume there, this 1700, you got a couple things. One, the short-term traders, the people that are trying to break out this move, to get it to go lower, they're stuck. They got to cover it back up here because they can't get it lower, and it's starting to go against them. The scalpers, the day traders, everyone that was trying to get it lower couldn't. Then when some bigger money came into the market, some stronger money, stronger hands to push it down again, gets it through 1100, gets it through another 1100, starts coming down in here, they're just pounding the heck out of it. And boom, they finally get it through, and sort of the dam breaks, and you get this pretty quick move. Another 3 cents, and later another 2 or 3 cents as well. What was the other market I want to talk about here? Finally, just getting over this cold. Still got a stuffed up nose though. British pound, talk about really quick. Now, here it is. Again, this is yesterday. So in the morning, we started. You did have, I believe it was retail. it was retail sales yesterday. I don't know, so much news is coming out fast, and I'll say fast and furious, but it's coming out, and everything's just happened. It seems like a whirlwind, honestly, with everything coming out. And I believe it was retail sales came out yesterday in the UK at 3:30 Chicago time, and they were very strong. So British pound got a rally. You got divergence, it fails, it rallies back up. You get another divergence, and you get this divergence with the ratio. And again, I always talk about using something extra in the order flow to make the trade, to take the symbol. If you're just taking divergence by itself, yeah, it can work, it cannot work. But when you add ratios into it, which comes with my software, then that's why I put it in the software. Because before, what I used to do is I'd hit a high, I'd start looking at the order flow, do this calculation either in my head. Sometimes I could do it in my head, or do it on a calculator, if I thought it was borderline. But that's why I have these ratios printing up here that just tell me, hey, there's price rejection up here, 130.59. And what happens? You go from 130.59, you just sell off, I'll say the rest of the morning, but you have a nice sell-off from 59 down to 10, that area. Eventually you go lower, but that was that's I won't say the beauty of order flow, but when you're using order flow, you should be looking at a lot of different things, and it looks like a lot of different things, but there's tools that you could use that make it a lot easier for you to make decisions. You don't need ratios on your footprint chart. I said I put it there for my convenience. Then people started, I was talking to other traders, said, hey, yeah, can give me a copy of your software. So, well, I can't, I got to sell it to you. That's how I got into it. But, and that's why I use the ratios. It's for my own trading. I don't put it out there because, hey, I want to get people using this. No, I developed it initially for my own trading, and people were seeing what I was doing, and then they started asking, how can I get it, and then just sort of exploded from there. Now, bonds were kind of difficult this morning, in all honesty. There was this high though at 5 o'clock, point of control right at the top of the bar. You have a ratio, you don't have a divergence, but it's very close. It's 50 is the delta. Now, I know people are sticklers for exactness. It has to be exact. But, with a good trader can, sort of make a decision and override the trading system. Now, if you have a reason to get short here, and you do, you have a ratio, you have point of control at the top. Well, if you got a small delta, and again, for me, if something in the 50s and below is small, this is 58. Well, people say, well, you said 50, this is 58. Yeah, it's still around that level, which I consider neutral. I mean, it could, difference of one trade could easily turn it negative, and then you'd have that divergence, okay? And, dealing with the range chart, sometimes there's just not enough volume in the bar as it starts selling off that there's going to be enough volume to turn the delta negative to get, so you could have a divergence. So this is, one of those borderline divergences. And again, 58 lots in the bonds is a difference of one trade. I know people that regularly trade bonds in 100 lot clips. Okay, so, if there was volume here and then they sold it, it'd be a negative delta and you'd have that divergence. So again, this is a borderline trade, but again, I like that point of control is at the top, and I like that you do have a ratio. Again, if it was a swing high, I would still like it, but at the height of the day, we're sort of trained to be looking for divergences also, but I still, I said, if a swing high with the point of control at the top and a ratio, I would still action on it. So even though it's at the height of the day, you don't have a divergence, I'd still action on it. And we sell off. We come down here, 642. You've got the U-turn, indicating a buy. You've got the single print. You got a ratio. You do get a little bit of a move, but you just mostly go sideways for most of the morning. Then you get the Delta Scalper given a sell here at 9 o'clock. It sells off to the price rejector, but just goes sideways after that. We're hanging around. This yellow line is the opening price for the session. And, we don't really go anywhere, for most of the session. We just sort of hang around that line. When you start hanging around the opening price, to me, that's a market that has no direction. That's just sort of rotating around value, because once we start rotating around the opening price, generally your point of control, and it's going to be around your value area anyway. Japanese yen. I talked about the pound. I didn't talk about the yen. Konnichiwa. But this was interesting this morning. Okay, now one of the things my software does, my software is designed to highlight things to me. Okay, that if you've ever traded for prolonged periods of times, you do lose your concentration. Okay, and when I was talking to my programmer to create the Orderflows trader software, I wanted to have him put in things that I'd normally look for, but I sometimes overlook because if I'm looking at different markets, I've got 6, 8 markets going on at once. You just got to be scanning, right? You're just scanning, and I wanted to highlight things. And one of the things I wanted him to highlight to me was the single prints in a bar. Like on the red bar, that's what these boxes are, and it is important to me because it's also a sign of price rejection. And we came up to the swing high. You got a ratio bounds low, but then you get 2 single prints. This one's a ratio, this one's not a ratio, but it's still a single print. And it's telling me there's price rejection up here. Okay, you got buying imbalances, just right off this top. So I know there was people trying to come up and buy it to move it higher. 44 here, 40. They couldn't get it higher, and buying just dries up. 1 lot trades, 4 lots trade, and then what happens? We can't get past this level. The market, you're just seeing, buying. You can only get it up 1 or 2 price levels, and then the buying just dries up. There's nobody lifting the offer anymore. 1 lot, 4 lot. We start working our way down. 90, 73, all the way down into the 50s, the 40s, lower. Delta surge giving a sell there. You just keep going lower and lower and lower. But again, just to highlight the importance of single prints. Okay, now you don't need my software to look at single prints. If you having a footprint chart, you can see it with your own eyes. But I like to have things visual. I'm a visual person, right? Instagram, I love. It's a lot of pictures. I don't need to read stories like on Facebook. People like to write long posts. I like to look at pictures. I'm a visual person. I think the brain processes visual things a lot faster than words. And looking at numbers, similar to words. I want to be highlighted to certain things. That's why. We put the box. It's a green box around a single print on a green candle, a red box around the single print on a red bar. Again, it's on the bottom of a up candle on the bid side. It's on the offer side of a red candle on the top. And it is important because watch what happens. I always say, people say, well, what's your levels that you trade around? Well, price action. You look for swing highs or swing lows, okay? And how do you determine if it's a swing low? Well, there are ways, but the simple way is you see, well, okay, we have a swing high here. We're trading down here. Is this a swing low? Probably not. Is this a swing low? Probably. Why? Because we have a single print here. So you see this market goes from, this single print. What do? We rally. We go all the way up to this, this is your first red bar on this move from 30 all the way up to 60. And your first red bar, you get a single print up here. And what happens? The market sells off again. Again, I'm not so much interested in bars in the middle of moves. I am at certain times. It just helps me, confirm to me that this market is going lower. And what happens? We get down here to this one green bar. The market rallies again. You got a single print there. So, what happens? We went from single print, you rally all the way up to a single print. You sell off to a single print. You rally to a single print. You got a swing low here, no single print. Okay, it's close to, it's a ratio almost. It's 0.7. It's not blue because I use 0.699 actually. If I had it at 0.7, it would give me a signal. You got point of control near the bottom. You just sort of rally up. Start coming down. I do like this bar here, point of control at the bottom, but you got price rejection up here. The bar previous, you got a single print, and then this bar, you got the single print. But it's then you get down here to this swing low. What happens? You got a single print. So watch when you get to potential swing lows or swing highs. and you start seeing, you have a move down, all of a sudden you got a green bar. Hey, watch what's going to happen on here. You're going to get a single print or not. If you are, it can be quite powerful. You rally up here, you don't have a single print. You start coming off, you get down here. Is this a swing low? I don't know. We're sort of going sideways in here. We sell off again. You get down here, single print, just sort of go sideways, another single print. You do pop up a little bit before you sell off. Nothing down there. You get up here, a single print, you come back off. So watch it, when you hit potential, and this is only, the first couple hours of the morning. I don't want to go through the whole day on every single contract, but you sort of get the idea. Again, if you're using a footprint chart, you don't need my software to highlight that to you. But honestly, if you're watching many different markets, it's there to help you, right? Help you in your analysis, right? That's really what you want, as a trader. You want tools that are going to help you make decisions faster, because unfortunately it is a game of speed nowadays. Okay, what am I looking at? That's soybeans. I'm talking about what I want to talk about. What was the next one? I think it was buns. Let me just find my bun chart here. Buns, here it is. Where am I here? Okay, so buns. Where do I really want to get interested in this market here? We do have these failed divergences. Keep going higher, higher, higher. More failed divergences. You get up here, you have a single print. You do have a ratio, but again, no divergence. You get up here, ratio, no divergence. Still got all the positive delta. Just sort of go sideways. Again, you take out the high. Delta scalper, right off the high on the red bar. Now, again, you had delta scalper here, but it's a green bar. I'm not interested in taking it there in a green bar. I'm interested in getting confirmation from the bar that it's, going in the direction that I like. So, you hit your high, your high bar. You got basically a neutral delta of 7. Next bar, delta scalper kicks in. More continued selling, very strong, 1400, 900, 2000, negative delta, and we go lower. We get down to this bar here where you got the delta scalper giving you a buy. You do have point of control right at the bottom. You do have a ratio as well, and you rally up close to the high actually. You got the stacked imbalance. Market doesn't sell off; it just goes sideways. You get a bullish signal right here actually after this bearish signal, which is a sign that's probably not going to work out. Delta scalper given the sell here. And, we just sort of work our way lower. You do get some strong selling coming in here. Now, you get this. This is the 3 in a row right here. 1, 2, 3. You do get the pullback here. It's between these 2 point of controls to get short. But you don't get that move. You do get the negative bearish bar here with the ratio and the single print. But it just goes sideways on you over the next bar and then this bar. And then when it gets up here, it's pushing your stop, which is going to be right up here where this point of control is in the initial bar. The worst case scenario stop would be behind this 10 lots here, but really when you start trading up towards this point of control in the first bar, that's your trigger to look to get out. So that one, that 3 in a row didn't work out. Delta scalper giving a sell there actually, but it's a green bar. Again, that's not where you want to be taking them. You want to take sells on red bars like this one here. That's why it's going to be more effective. Why get short when the price action in the bar doesn't even confirm the reason, the sell? Why get long when the bar can't even close higher when it opened? Again, it's reason why I didn't add that in there into the program is, or the indicator, whatever you want to call it, is because, I want people to still, make the final decision in their trading. I want them to understand, read the order flow, and make a decision based on that. So, this is a nice sell. 161.86, we get all the way down into the 60s. Delta Scalper gives a buy here. It just goes sideways on you. That one would have stopped you out. We're coming into 10 o'clock, which is the the cash close in Europe for the bonds, for the bunds. So that's it, actually. I mean, again, I could talk about a lot of different, some of these other markets, but I'm trying to keep these recordings to about a half hour. So thanks for watching this. To learn more about order flows, visit my website, orderflows.com, or go to Delta Scalper if you're interested in the Delta Scalper. I'll probably take it off the market again because I've got this thing that I'm working on, which is for the inner circle. So for the people that really want to, I don't want to get into the indicator selling. I'd rather get into dealing more with people that are interested in order flow. So I have my inner circle. I'm going to be opening it up for membership again, and Delta Scalper will be one of the benefits of joining. If you already have the Delta Scalper, let me know. But you'll get maybe you'll get access to other indicators that I got as well in the inner circle. So if you're interested in learning more about the inner circle, just message me. If you're already on my distribution list, you'll be getting an email over the weekend. And it takes my inner circle really takes order flow to the next level. I've already got about 35 videos I've recorded, and I hope to get it up to. I've got another 5 that I just have to record, actually. But they deal with things as double tops, double bottoms, rounding tops, rounding bottoms, trade management, time framing, PLC migration, references, and there's a couple others. But I hope to get those recorded actually tonight. So thanks for watching this video, and again, if you're interested in the inner circle, just message me. It's not open to the public yet, but it will be open to the public over the weekend. So thanks everyone. Bye bye.